Hi everyone, I'm Olugbenga Ogunbowale. I specialize in making AI smarter using simple techniques. Today, I'll teach you how to quickly improve how AI responds to you, no matter your background or experience. So, let's jump right in. What is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is simply writing, refining, and optimizing inputs to guide AI models to generate the desired output. Why is it important? It's essential for precise and relevant AI responses as it shapes the model's understanding and generation. Now, how does it work? First of all, you craft the prompt, right? And then when you get the outcome, the output, you analyze the response and you review the prompt. And then you now use the output. So let's talk about challenges in prompt engineering. The first challenge is ambiguity, right? And when we're talking about ambiguity, we're talking about poorly worded prompts that can lead to incorrect or irrelevant AI responses. Now, let me give you an example. So let's say we use the prompt, tell me about Washington. Now, what is wrong with this prompt? What is the issue? The question here is Washington can refer to several things. Are you talking about Washington state? Are you talking about Washington, the capital, right? Or are you talking about Washington, the president, George Washington, right? So this is a textbook example of an ambiguous prompt. The AI might provide a response that really does not meet your need. The second challenge in prompt engineering is bias. I think I can stop this for now. Okay. All right. So bias. Now, when we're talking about bias, right? Unintended biases in prompts can influence the AI's output in undesirable ways. So let's use another example. Let's say I type in the prompt, describe the typical software developer. Right. Now, on the surface, this looks like a very simple harmless prompt, but this kind of prompt might lead the AI to generate, stereotypes about age, gender, ethnicity. For example, in this case, educational background, right? Rather than reflecting an inclusive or accurate potential. Right. So, okay, let's move on now. The third challenge is false expectations, right? Users may anticipate that an AI will provide the best or accurate response on the first attempt without the need for prompt refinement. So, for example, a good example would be using the prompt, write a poem, right? If I use this prompt and I type it, ChatGPT will just write any kind of poem for me, right? Any kind. It would not be specific. It probably will not meet my taste. But just imagine, for example, I type in write a poem for my wife on a birthday. She is Nigerian, very hardworking, and very beautiful. Right? Now, I want us to compare the difference between the first prompt and the second, right? So look at the first prompt, the quiet whispers of the dawn's first light, right? Now, look at this. In the heart of vibrant lands afar, where bright skies holds the evening star, your beauty shines both fierce and true. Can you see? If I send this poem now, to my wife, right, she's definitely going to appreciate this better than the first one, right? So let's talk about how to design effective prompt next. The first point is clarity and specificity, right? You would see, for example, that when I specified and I talked about, what I really wanted, the kind of person, the intended target audience, and our trait, it gave me a better output. Next is contextual relevance. I mentioned that my wife is Nigerian, for example. She's hardworking. That's me providing context, right? And then the third is prompt refinement. It's not every time that you get what you need at once. So what happened here between the first write the poem and the second where I talked about my wife, that's prompt refinement, right? It's not every time that you're going to get the answer you're seeking for on your very first try. You need to refine, provide more context so that you can get the exact answer that you need. I want you to remember that prompt engineering is essential for crafting precise, relevant AI responses, right? Continuous improvement through feedback is key. I don't know when you had your own first AI moment, but for me, the first time I tried using ChatGPT, my mind was blown, all right? Thank you for joining me today. Today, you learned how to make AI respond better with just a few tweaks. Try this out and see the difference for yourself. So, do you have any questions for me?